Nothing will stand in our way, and our golden age has just begun.
This is Human Events with Jack Posobiec.
Now it's time for everyone to understand what America First truly means.
Welcome to the Second American Revolution.
All right, folks, we're back. Jack Posobiec here, Human Events Daily. Folks, I gotta tell you real quick. If you're a homeowner in America, you need to listen to this. It's so important to know because the FBI has been warning about a new type of real estate fraud that's on the rise, and it's called title theft. And your equity is the target. So when you get a home, we all know we have equity, but here's how it works. The criminals will forge your signature on a single document, use a fake notary stamp, and then file that with the county. And just like that, on record, they own your home. Using your ownership, they can take out loans against your equity or even sell your property. And you won't know about it until foreclosure or collection notices show up in the mail. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can protect your equity and find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code POSO at HomeTitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Find out why I trust Home Title Lock. Protect yourself like I did. Don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code POSO. All right, very excited to be joined here on location with the very honorable, that's true, honorable, right? Honorable Navy Marine Corps veteran, Navy EOD officer, former, the CEO of the MacArthur Group, my buddy, Tom Sauer. What's up, Tom?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, bud. Appreciate it.
So, Tom, people, just by way of introduction, people don't actually realize that, they may have seen you, right-wing figure, right?
Right-wing figure in the Atlantic
magazine. That we actually served together in the Navy.
We did. You were one of the intel guys out of EOD Mobile Unit 5 in Guam. And I remember I talked to that Atlantic writer for like almost 2 hours. And he put one snippet in there because he couldn't find anything negative about you on that. So
we try. They try. The ops persist, but
yes.
So do I. The ops persist,
they do.
But so do I. So yeah, we served together in EOD Mobile Unit 5 in back when they called it PACOM. Now it's Indo-PACOM.
Correct.
Under 7th Fleet.
Yep.
And Mobile Unit 5. Obviously we can talk some of it publicly, not a lot, but the goal was to focus on Asia Pacific.
Absolutely.
And countering Chinese Communist Party influence in the region.
100%. Yeah. Everything from mine warfare, protecting ports and mines, and anything we had to deal with, whether we had to respond to something happening in somewhere in the region, maybe a particular island that's very important to U.S. interests, or maybe a certain peninsula like Korea.
Maybe it would logically follow that
right.
if we were in the South China Sea area, the AOR, that there would be places pertaining to that we may have focused on, or if we were near places like, I don't know, Korea or Japan, which I know because I can see them on maps,
right.
and I'm not basing this off of any classified information that I may or may not know, that I could see that if there was a unit that was stationed in that area, that perhaps they may be interested in that as well.
That's absolutely right. Forward deployed.
Perhaps.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Perhaps. But Tom, so I wanted to get into it with you just by way of background, because we do have this breaking news on on something that has nothing to do with veterans, but I do want to pull that up in a minute.
All right.
It has to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And there's new emails that have come out between, I believe it's Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And so I've been looking through these just as we've gone to Showtime here, and I'm looking at them. I see the Democrats are putting it out, Oversight Democrats. They received new emails. They put it out a couple of hours ago, and believe it or not, they mentioned Donald Trump in these messages. So, and before we get into it directly, what's kind of been your read on the Trump Epstein thing? Just as someone who's not a member of the administration,
sure.
someone who kind of looks at it. You're obviously involved in the veteran community.
Right.
You're involved in special forces community. What's kind of the read there?
Well, I think what it just comes down to is that obviously Jeffrey Epstein was trying very hard to get his claws into Donald Trump for years, had been, but was largely unsuccessful. I mean, I think Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago because he's getting a little frisky with one of the young female staffers there, right? And I think he's been trying for a while. And now you see this stuff that's coming out now, and it really just looks like, what are they really doing? Like they're trying to somehow like hang this around his neck, but there's no connection there. These emails suggest something about Trump. Like
Let's get into that. But you're right. It looked for years that Epstein was trying to use Trump and use his name, and we're doing this on the fly. We've got a little power issue that we're going to make sure that doesn't become an issue.
Right.
But he was always trying to ingratiate himself into Trump's circle, which was always his MO.
Anybody rich, powerful, influential?
Rich, powerful, influential, he would ingratiate himself. And now we see, because, and I'll talk about it in a second, but some of these emails pertain to when Trump was running for office the first time, how Jeffrey Epstein was trying to, once again, ingratiate himself. Now, he's already had legal troubles at that point. So just to put it in by way of context, but let's see, here's probably, and I just want to drive into it in the first instance, here's probably the most, what I think is going to be the most controversial one, just looking at it. It says, so these are emails between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right.
She had a very top secret email address called GMax. Get it? Ghislaine Maxwell. GMax.
Good name.
I know, right? So it says, here's what he's saying in 2011. Now, 2011, you go back, and I have to look up the exact date, but this is when police were coming after him the first time. And this is when, actually, Mueller was one of the people who was running the FBI operation.
Right.
Notice, no federal charges that time around. Very strange. No federal charges. What Alex Acosta got, the first labor secretary got rolled up in, because they said, why didn't you charge this guy when he's doing this? But he ends up getting Florida charges. He gets the state charges for prostitution. He gets this sweetheart deal.
Yeah, I think he was like going home every night or something.
He was going home every night. He was
deal.
leaving the West Palm sheriff's. It was basically a sheriff's station. And he was like locked up, but he could go. No. He could go home during the day, but he had to spend the night there.
Oh, it's even easier.
And so here's the email. It's Saturday, April 2nd. Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell says, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump." And it blanks out the name, and it says, "Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell responds, "I have been thinking about that." So people have gone in and looked at it and said, well, the 2018 situation had to do with Virginia Giuffre. And so people like Technofog and people like our friend Greg Price
Love Greg.
have put out and said, no, he's incredible. He's best at what he does.
Yeah.
And they have the responses from Ghislaine Maxwell's contemporaneous testimony, because she, of course, came out publicly as the victim there and said, right here, he didn't partake in any sex with any of us, but he flirted with me. And it's actually, correction, they claimed that at the time. She says in her testimony, I want to just fix that. She says, it's not true that he flirted with me. Donald Trump never flirted with me. He didn't partake in any sex with us. And then they say, where did you meet him? This is Virginia Giuffre, at Mar-a-Lago. My dad and him, I wouldn't say they were friends, but my dad knew him and they would talk. Not all the time, but when they saw each other. Have you ever been in Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's presence with one another? Answer, Virginia Giuffre, no.
Right.
So they asked her about this when she was on her own testifying.
Right.
So she would have had every quote-unquote incentive
She would have.
to come out forward if something were true.
Right.
She did not.
And it looks like here these emails are just coming from Michael Wolff was putting all these things out, and he was really trying.
This is the next, so Epstein, so Wolff is the next one. So that was the first email in 2011,
right?
Where it's just Epstein and Virginia Giuffre, but you can see it seems like he's trying to get Donald Trump rolled up into the investigation.
Clearly,
but then you go back to the actual victim. They did ask her about Donald Trump.
Yep.
And so he's saying, so Epstein, because he doesn't know what the police are asking, they're saying, wait a minute, how come they didn't talk to Trump? Well, they asked her about Trump, and she said Trump wasn't involved.
There you go. It's over.
So
what else is there?
If you're running an investigation, you can't just go if someone tells you this guy wasn't involved. I mean, sure, you can go and talk to him, and we do know that Trump actually went to lawyers that were running this and said, please let me know whatever I can do to help you with Jeffrey Epstein, because I'm more than willing to tell you whatever. He'd already kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago.
I think some of those investigators went out of their way to say he was actually the most cooperative.
Right.
You got on the phone and said, like, hey, how can I help you guys? What can I do?
Right.
If
So
you need anything, call me. You got my number.
Clearly just wrong here. But on the merits, this is the real question to say, because he said they spent hours together, right?
Yeah, that's the allegation.
Pulling it up again. Spent hours at my home with him, and she said, no, we didn't.
Right.
So,
and she had no reason to lie.
So right there, and
this is what, 2015?
That was 2011.
2011.
So that's I think what he was trying to do is, again, just get Trump rolled up in it so that, if you're coming after me, you got to go after him. And,
Right.
and that obviously makes it much more high profile,
Absolutely.
gets Trump's money involved, et cetera, et cetera. Then you got 2015. That's where Michael Wolff starts sending these emails. And Michael Wolff is this, he's kind of a gossip blogger who just writes books. And I've met him, I've seen him around, and I see what he does. Yeah, he just takes rumors and he takes Oppo and he just prints it. And
Physiognomy checks out.
Oh gosh, now we're busted. We got about a minute left, but I'll say that then in those emails, and let's do it. Actually, I see that he was sending these emails on my birthday, December 15th.
Nice.
That once again, this is when Trump was running for office, and then again in 2019 when Trump is. When Epstein is getting, about to be arrested the second time.
Yep.
Now he's talking to Wolff again, trying, once again, get Trump involved, get Trump in there, trying to figure out ways to enwrap Trump in all of this.
Yep.
Because that's what they want to do.
Right.
They want to make it as if Trump was a part of this operation, that Trump was part of the network in order to either hurt, and the one is 2015, so they're trying to hurt him for the campaign, or on the other side, they said, but Epstein could actually help you by saying that you weren't involved, and then maybe he'll owe you. So that's Wolff saying that he isn't even asking him what the truth is. It's just.
Well, they're just running Oppo
research. Not even asking, but he's not even asking what the truth is.
Yeah.
So what kind of journalist is, if you're just trying to get the truth, why would you ever say that to a source?
You don't hate journalists enough.
It actually sounds like a staffer.
Could be.
It actually sounds like a staffing relationship. We're going to get back to this. New Jeffrey Epstein emails, Jack Posobiec, Tom Sauer. Stay tuned.